What if calm wasn't something you were born with, but something you could master? Not luck, not your temperament, but a skill, something built through practice, reflection, and discipline. The ancient Stoics believed that calm was an art. It was a way of living intentionally, not emotionally. If this idea resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe. Let's explore together how this ancient wisdom can help us shape a steadier, stronger inner life. First, let's talk about controlling what you can and releasing what you can't. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "Some things are in our control, and some things are not." Most of our suffering comes from confusing these two. We waste so much energy trying to rewrite the past, predict the future, change other people, or force outcomes we were never meant to control. This constant struggle drains our energy and completely destroys our peace. True calm begins with a simple act of separation, understanding what truly belongs to you and what never did. Think about it. You cannot control the weather, the economy, what other people think or do, or the final outcome of your efforts. But you can always control your responses, your choices, your effort, your boundaries, and your character. This is the fundamental Stoic pivot, shifting your energy from things you can't influence to the things you can. Take a moment and ask yourself, what am I trying to force right now that doesn't belong to me? Letting that go is the very first step toward finding real, lasting calm. Here's a question for you. Are you overwhelmed because life is genuinely hard, or because you simply expected it not to be? It's a powerful thought. If that question hits home, share your reflection in the comments below. You never know. Your insight might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. The second idea is the secret to emotional intelligence, pausing before you react. Seneca, another great Stoic, wrote that anger is temporary madness. The real problem isn't the first rush of emotion we feel, it's the instant, unfiltered reaction that follows it. Irritation, fear, disappointment, these feelings are part of being human. The crucial difference between a calm response and a chaotic one is the pause. It might just be a single breath, a moment of stillness, but in that small space, clarity has a chance to rise. In that space, you get to choose your response. You reclaim leadership over your own emotions instead of being ruled by them. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the mind becomes dyed by the color of its thoughts. So, if your first impulse is anger, but your second, considered thought is wisdom, you are actively choosing to become wise. This pause is an act of self-command, and it's the birthplace of calm. So much of the turmoil we experience in life happens because we skip this vital moment. A calm life isn't built overnight. It's constructed one thoughtful reaction at a time. Our third Stoic tool is something called negative visualization. Now, this is not about being a pessimist. It's about being prepared. Most people suffer from setbacks because they go through life expecting everything to be smooth and easy. The Stoics, on the other hand, expected difficulty. And because they expected it, difficulty didn't break them when it arrived. They would mentally walk through potential setbacks, loss, delays, and criticism. The point wasn't to suffer in advance, but to avoid being shocked and overwhelmed later. Fear always grows stronger in the dark, but preparation brings it into the light where you can deal with it. So, try asking yourself this simple question each morning. If today becomes difficult, how will I carry myself? This practice doesn't create anxiety. It dissolves it by arming you with a plan. You're mentally rehearsing your resilience. So when challenges do appear, you're not caught off guard, you're ready. The fourth idea is to focus on virtue, not on approval. The calmest people you'll ever meet are those who are the least dependent on what others think of them. When your sense of peace is tied to the opinions of others, your peace becomes incredibly fragile and unstable. Epictetus taught his students, if you want to improve, be willing to be thought foolish. Chasing approval is like trying to hit a moving target. It's exhausting and you'll never quite get there. Virtue, on the other hand, is like a compass. It's stable. Your wisdom, your courage, your sense of justice, your discipline, these are things that belong to you. No one can ever take them away. So, instead of constantly asking, what will people think of this? Start asking, what is the right thing to do? Calm naturally grows when your life is aligned with your own core values, not with someone else's ever-changing expectations. Let me ask you this. If you could truly stop caring what other people think, how much calmer would your life become? Just imagine that for a second. If that thought opened something up inside you, consider subscribing. This kind of wisdom grows faster when we explore it together as a community. Finally, we come to the fifth idea, memento mori. This is a Latin phrase that means, remember you are mortal. This isn't about fearing death. It's about valuing life more deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. When you truly remember that your time here is limited, a beautiful shift in perspective happens. Small, daily irritations begin to fade away. Insults and slights lose their power over you. Trivial worries shrink down to their actual size. Your priorities become crystal clear. This awareness of mortality creates gratitude. It brings you into the present moment. It gives you perspective. So many of us waste years waiting for someday to finally start living. The Stoics knew that someday is never guaranteed. When you realize how precious your time is, you stop wasting it on pointless emotional turmoil. Memento mori isn't the end of pace, it is the very beginning of it. So, let's bring it all together. Calm isn't luck. It isn't some gift that's handed out at birth, and it isn't reserved for a blessed few. Calm is a skill, and it's a skill that you can build, starting today. You build your calm when you learn to control only what is truly yours. You strengthen it every time you pause before reacting. You deepen it by preparing your mind for challenges. You protect it by focusing on virtue over approval. And you elevate it by remembering the value of your time. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, none of these great thinkers were born calm. They were just like us. They practiced calm. They worked at it daily. And so can you. If this message brought you a little bit of clarity today, or maybe just helped you breathe a little deeper, please consider subscribing. Not just for the sake of the algorithm, but because walking this Stoic path together makes it easier for all of us to stay steady. Calm is built, calm is earned, and calm is yours if you practice it. Thanks for watching.